Well, I had an interesting experience, I guess it would be called, a revelation. Last Saturday afternoon, I was in a dollar store. Now, I went there to look and see if they had those ring caps that you use in a certain type of cap gun, because they use a certain priming compound that I wanted to experiment with. So, I'm in the toy aisle. Well, kind of one of them. There's like a toy aisle and then there's a little overflow, and I was in the overflow where I hoped that they would be. But down there was a guy and his kid. And I'm thinking the guy, you know, like mid-30s maybe. Kid was a toddler at that point where he can kind of walk unassisted. I mean, he was getting along fine. But, you know, when he would talk, it's one of these, you know, he talks a language that only the parent is going to understand. So I never caught a word that he said, but as they're walking down this aisle, this kid spots this toy that he wants. Which, you know, kids are gonna. And this particular toy was easily spottable because it was a pink, shiny unicorn, you know, stuffed animal, about that high maybe, with a rainbow mane and tail. Huh, the kid wants that. Yeah, the dad says, you know, that's a little girl's toy. You're not a little girl, are you? Who? No, you know. And at that moment when he said that, I'm thinking, who? You know, like, that's not the kind of thing you should say. But it is the kind of thing you should say. But evidently I had just a moment of awokeness there. You know, but it's the father's job to guide this kid. That was the proper thing to do. But society now, you're constantly pounded with this wokeness stuff, and evidently just a little fragment of it had embedded in my subconscious, because I had this momentary flash, oh, you can't say that, you know. That if the kid wants the unicorn, evidently by the wokeness thing, I mean, maybe I should buy it. But like the dad said, it's a little girl's toy. I was stunned that I didn't, of course, say anything. They didn't even know I was there, let's say. But I had surprised myself that even had this little flash of wokeness. But I think, you know, it's the social hammering. So, the boy doesn't carry on about this. They go down the aisle looking for a different toy. You know, perhaps this man deprived the world of the next great woman's dress designer? I don't know. I don't think it matters. I think we got enough of them. So they go down the aisle. And I run into him later at the checkout. I had looked around a little bit, and they had been down and got a toy, and they were waiting in the line. And the kid had a teddy bear. You know, brown, not pink. No rainbows. And the kid appeared to be very fond of this teddy bear. He didn't want to give it up to the checkout lady. He was clutching this thing for all it was worth. But he hesitantly gave it up, and they checked it out, and the kid went with his teddy bear, and he was happy. Who knows, maybe he'll grow up to be a veterinarian or a zookeeper, you know. But the whole thing, like a lot of this I'm speculating about. Um, I suspect that the man was divorced, probably, or separated. I suspect it was rather recent. I'm thinking probably the spring. I'm thinking this was the time he had with his son. There was a certain awkwardness between the two of them that makes me think that. They obviously knew each other, but kind of estranged sort of situation. So that's my guess. Like I say, speculation, but percentage-wise, the odds are kind of in my favor on that thought. I often speculate on these things. I observe people, and that's what I observed. Odds are, if he'd have got this unicorn, he would have lost interest rather rapidly in this thing. I would guess that he probably has a sister a couple years older. She might have run off with the unicorn, or been very jealous of the unicorn. But he got his bear and he was happy. But I suspect a lot there. But the whole point of the thing is, I was really surprised that I had that little moment of wokeness in there. That, the dad was doing the exact right thing. Who am I to second guess him? I really, like I say, it was only for a second, and it was never my intention. It's just that society pounds that into you now. So you gotta watch that. There's a creeping evil there. But I think it'll all work out. Maybe that kid will hang on to that teddy bear and give it to his kids or his grandkids, though I don't think a Chinese teddy bear is going to last it very long. I mean, we had, growing up, we had a teddy bear that my great-grandmother had made that got passed down to the kids, but that was made out of an old coat or an old blanket, and somewhere along the line he lost one of the button eyes, but he was still hanging in there. Last I saw him, I think my brother might have it. But things like that last. But, a Chinese one, chances are slim. But he got what he wanted. Because I swear he didn't really want the unicorn. It just that it caught his eye, which things are designed to do that, to catch kids' eyes. But I think the dad did the right thing there. Though I'm sure people would say, "Oh, should have bought him that," because I know women who think it's cool to buy dolls for the little boy because then it makes them look more woke, Usually to the great distress of the fathers, but it happens. Actually, quite commonly. But the mother was probably off with a new boyfriend, maybe with the kid's older sister in tow. Or 10% chance it was a new girlfriend. Again, odds, plain numbers. But I think the kid was very happy with this teddy bear. And I don't think his sister, if such a creature exists, will take it away from him. But the red carpet's loss is society's gain. We don't need any more dress designers. But like I say, the dad did the right thing. As a twig is bent, so grows the tree. So you gotta watch them twigs. But I was glad to see that he bought the bear. It would have been unfortunate if the kid, but that's partially why I think divorce, time with the kid, because normally the dad wouldn't be out shopping for toys with the kid. But in a divorce situation, that comes up. Unfortunately, kids kind of get to know how to use that. But this kid was too young to be taking advantage of that. But he was happy with his bear. But it was interesting. Just an observation. And watch your thoughts. I had dwelt on that I even had that fraction of a second of wokeness. It bothers me a lot. But I'll get over it. And life will go on. But I won't make that. But it was an instinctual thing, because they pounded into you that, oh yeah, if the kid wants a Barbie doll, you get the kid a Barbie doll. If he wants a rainbow unicorn, you get him a rainbow unicorn. No. I think it's time for a little guidance there. I think the dad did exactly the right thing. Yeah, well, go to work on the Volkswagen.